Coming at you live from Boulder's backyard, it's Buffs News Radio Show with your host, Russ. And near is your host, Russ! Coming at you.
What's up, everyone, and welcome into Buffs News Weekly Live. I'm your host, Russ, and welcome to the Friday show. We are less than 24 hours from Colorado's second game against Delaware in Boulder. A chance for the Colorado Buffaloes to get a little bit of payback, not necessarily against Delaware, but just in general after last week showing a chance to get right, a chance to get back on it. And Colorado will get to do that tomorrow afternoon at Folsom Field. So we're going to talk about the game, keys to the victory. We're also going to talk about a little bit of news to start the show. And then we're going to end the show with you guys getting a chance to voice your opinions. You guys can call in from home and give me your predictions for the game tomorrow against Delaware. I want scores. I want who's going to ball out for the Buffs. I want all of that, and I want you guys to call in a little bit later on in the show. So until then, we're going to talk quickly about some news. So a few bit of news in the college football world. Of course, the very, very big piece of news that came out, I think in the last couple days, not couple hours, but last couple days, the news and information has to do with the transfer portal. And of course, Coach Prime loves to use the transfer portal. And the news is that the NCAA Football Oversight Committee has officially ramified a new rule that will say the transfer portal will be once a year instead of twice a year. So now there will only be one transfer portal. It will be 10 days long, and it will open January 2nd. Okay? January 2nd is when it will open. And previously, there were two transfer portal windows. The first one was in December and lasted 20 days. The second one was in April and lasted for just 10 days. Now it looks like the transfer portal will be just a 10-day window in the month of January. Now, I don't love the idea of them doing January. I don't know how the NCAA can't just get this right. Open the transfer portal after the national championship game. It's not difficult, everybody. Open it after football is fully done, to allow players to play in those games, to focus on their playoff games. And then if they need to transfer, they can do so after those games are completed. The one bit of good news that it does allow for, or doesn't really allow for, I should say, limits, is we're no longer going to see the players who come in the winter transfer portal and then leave in the spring transfer portal after things have not worked out perfectly. Now, as you guys remember, Colorado has had this happen on occasion. The most recent one being the tight end we had 2 years ago that we brought in the January window, ended up heading out in the spring window. But lots of other teams have had this occur to them numerous times. And so that will no longer be the case. So there's at least that. But yes, it is going to be a very interesting thing. I still don't know why they are not doing it post all of the postseason games, letting the players play in their postseason game, their bowl games, whatever they have going on, and then moving on. Looks like that's not going to be the case. It will be in that January window during bowl season that's going to occur / the playoffs. So very interesting bit of news. Interesting news that's going to affect Colorado. Now, if Coach Prime had it his way, he would, have a shortened transfer portal period. Players would only get maybe one opportunity to transfer. However, what I could see in the future, what I will see in the future, and I want to see in the future is, again, we need to get contracts for players. Okay, let's treat players like we do with coaches. Have guaranteed contracts with buyout clauses so that if players want to transfer, if teams want to pay that buyout clause to take on that player because that player is leaving, then let them go. but let's also have an out for the teams. Let's have a little bit more commitment for the players to the programs. That's going to be my biggest thing. That's the hardest thing right now is college football is the wild, wild west when it comes to acquiring talent. The professional leagues, you have contracts. You can't talk to players under contract. You can't do any of that stuff. And it makes it a little bit better as a fan because you know who's going to stay with your favorite teams. Now in college, besides the fact that college is 4 to 5 years long for these players to be a part of the program, they're leaving and going to multiple teams throughout those 4 years. And so there's really no way to connect a player to the fan base and to the team like it used to be with college sports. So that is something going to be very, very interesting as we see it develop and continue to develop. But the newest and latest development, of course, is one window for the transfer portal in January, short 10-day window. And that's what we have going on going forward. Now, I've got a bit of recruiting news for you guys. That's right. We are in the prime time recruiting season as we head into National Signing Day at the end of this season. And the recruiting news is we have a number of players coming to visit, but the number one player that you're going to want to keep an eye on that is coming to visit Colorado this weekend, very interesting player. The 4-star Alabama commit, wide receiver / athlete, Alexander Ward out of Bradenton, Florida, IMG Academy connection, is coming to Boulder this weekend to visit Colorado and see the game. There are a number of other commits. We don't have a full list of commitments coming to Colorado this weekend, but the one that we do have a confirm is a hard commit to Alabama. Okay, he committed last year in November 26th of 2024. He is a 90 player rated by 24/7 Sports. He is the 8th rated athlete in the country, 22 rated recruit out of Florida, 218 nationally, 4-star player, composite score as well at a 92.3, very close to that 5-star designation. Who knows, might have it by the end of his season this year for IMG. 6'1", 174 pounds right now. Could bulk up a little, could grow a little bit more for college football, but a very interesting prospect that Colorado is trying to woo over. He also has offers from Auburn, Florida State, and Georgia, just to name a few. He's recently gone or has gotten offers from Texas A&M, Florida State, Michigan, and Tennessee. So very, very interesting that we all of a sudden have Alexander Ward coming in to visit Colorado this weekend. Like I said, I don't have full confirmation of who all is going to be visiting on the weekend. It'll be interesting to see after the weekend if we find out who was on a visit at Colorado. Maybe there might be some surprises for us fans as far as players coming to Colorado this weekend. So that's it. That's the news. That's what we have so far from this week. Of course, the other bit of news, we can talk about the things directly related to the football game. We've talked about it all week. I want to get your guys' opinion. What do you think is happening? And do you think that Coach Prime is wrong for saying that Julian Lewis is in fact playing this weekend? The one thing I can say about this, and I want to get everybody's opinions, it's what I've been thinking about this week as we head into tomorrow's game. I said it on Wednesday night, really there's two directions this game goes. We either take care of business and do what we need to do against a lesser opponent. Yes, I'm saying a lesser opponent because the fact is that they are brand new to FBS. They have skill, they have talent, they have ability. But when it really comes down to it, Colorado has no excuse not to show up and show out for this game tomorrow. That has to happen, okay? It just has to. So if Colorado takes care of business, does what it needs to do, then it should jump out to a very massive lead, leading into time for Julian Lewis in the second half if it is a blowout. Now, on the flip side, if we do not take care of business and we are either doing one of two things, either the game is close because we're struggling or we are losing this game, then maybe that's another scenario where Julian Lewis gets a shot and an opportunity because now we've seen what Kaidon Salter can do and it's not enough. So I really feel like in both those scenarios, Julian Lewis plays, and I really do feel like that both of those scenarios are what we're going to see. We're going to see one or the other. There's no other options. There is either the game is close in a normal football game when it shouldn't be, or we're losing, or the game should be us taking care of business and getting some of the backup players in to get some time. Now, the question I have for everybody, the question that I want you to answer, whether you're in the chat right now or whether you're watching this video later on after the recording, let me know in the comments below. If Julian Lewis comes in the scenario where it is a blowout, Kaidon Salter's had a great game, Julian Lewis comes in and he looks fantastic. Okay? If Julian Lewis comes in, fantastic. So we've done what we needed to do. We're way ahead. Kaidon Salter had a pretty darn good game. Julian Lewis comes in relief and he balls out. He looks even better than Kaidon Salter did in the first half. Maybe he throws 2 touchdowns, say 150, 200 yards, looks really good, solid in command, passing around the rock, getting people involved. If that's the case, does that start a quarterback controversy in Colorado? And vice versa. Obviously, if Kaidon struggles and Colorado is either in a close game or losing when Julian Lewis enters the ball game and plays well, that is a guarantee that there is now a quarterback controversy in Colorado. So the question that I have either way, I feel like Coach Prime is setting up something that could start a quarterback controversy in Colorado. The only time that would not start is if Julian Lewis comes in and struggles or doesn't look that great when he plays. That's the only scenario where I don't see this becoming an issue with the team, but I could very well see this become an issue with the team no matter what. As we know, fans get on particular messaging. They get on this idea, especially when it comes to multiple quarterbacks in a system. You see it every time in the NFL. You see it in college. If a backup quarterback performs that well, the questions always start murmuring around the fans whether or not that backup should be the starter. So I'm very interested to see. The one thing I don't like about announcing Julian playing feels like a distraction headline. Why give away game plan? Why not keep that in-house? Brady, I would agree with that to an extent, but I don't think this is going to be a platoon situation. So I don't think it's giving anything away in that. I truly do believe that Julian Lewis is playing in one of 2 scenarios, either because it's a blowout or because Colorado's struggling and needs a change. One of those 2 things is going to happen in this game. It really is. The question is which one. It's not like we're going to be playing a platoon system where we're going to be going back and forth and trying to catch them off guard. I don't think that's the case at all. So that's where I don't think it's a game plan issue. Now, the words you used when it came to the distraction headline, that is something entirely different. As I said, my question still stands. Do we think that having Julian Lewis play could create that quarterback controversy? And oh my goodness, Kevin Riley coming in massive today. I appreciate you on this Friday. Kevin Riley with a $20 super chat. Kevin, you just bought me a beer at the football game tomorrow. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate you so very much. I would like to see K-Salt do well, but I didn't like that he was not wearing Buffs gear when he was interviewing with the Buffs announcer. I hope Juju gets at least 1/2. Interesting. I did not notice that. I was more listening to his words and what he had to say. But we'll have to see. I would love K-Salt to be the guy. I really would. I would like us to ease Julian Lewis in and be just a successful team under Kaidon Salter. But if we're not successful, having Julian Lewis waiting in the wings makes you wonder how quickly the team would move on from Kaidon Salter. And so that's where my question again comes in. You guys let me know in the chat. If Juju balls out, no matter what Kaidon Salter does in this game, whether he succeeds or not, is there going to be a quarterback controversy? I believe that the media and the fans will hype up a controversy, which, by the way, I don't know if you follow me on Twitter. Julian Lewis went on a ban spree of accounts on Twitter, including my own. Yes, I am banned by our quarterback, Julian Lewis. I cannot follow him. I cannot see his posts on Twitter, anything like that. My assumption is his people are preparing his social media accounts for what is most likely to come out of this weekend, which is either one of two things. Either quarterback controversy is stirring or a less than optimal performance could be occurring as well. Something to think about when it comes to that. D-Nice Coach Prime has an old way of motivating. It's brash, but it can be effective. Major, it will cause a ruckus if Juju balls out. That's what I'm thinking. Lady C, I'm just glad Juju is playing, period. I get it. Demysticles, quarterback controversy against Delaware. That's only if K. Salter struggles. See, okay, that's what I want. I want that comment. So you think that if K. Salter balls, we're killing Delaware, Juju comes in, does well, it's more going to be about, okay, well, we're great for the future. It's not going to be, a quarterback controversy moving forward. Keith, nothing wrong running a 2-quarterback system. I agree there's nothing wrong with it. I don't think that's what we're doing. I truly don't. I don't think that Prime would do that. I think that he is going to legitimately just hand the keys off to Juju at some point during this game. TK, how you mad he's wearing regular clothes? You fans are parasocial, man. TK. Hey, Kevin had an interesting comment. But yes, I think we're looking into it a little bit too much, Kevin. What if Salt is balling? We can't stop him and up by 7-10 all game. Then you feel like all you have to still play him in a close game. Unlikely, but why would you put yourself in a box like that? Just saying. Brady, and that is a good point too. I think Coach Prime has put himself in a box because if that is the case, K-Salt's playing great. Defense is struggling. CU scoring at will. Delaware's scoring at will because, by the way, guys, Delaware does not play a pound and ground style, a ground and pound style. They play a high octane, high flying offense. So they're a team that if for some reason our defense continues to struggle, could be a shootout type scenario, in which case if Kaidon's balling, but we're keeping that lead, do you still turn to Juju at some point during the game? Very interesting, very interesting. I guess that could happen. I just don't see that happening because I think the defense will bounce back, but you're absolutely right. That could be a thing. Okay. Brady, I agree though. I am not somebody over here pounding the drum for Juju. I will say I made a bad comment after the game Friday night saying that I wanted to see maybe Juju for this game just to see what we had. I made a mistake. I watched the All-22, which as you guys find out a lot, if you look online, you'll have an immediate reaction to when you watch a game on TV. But once you watch that All-22, it tells you a lot more than that view on the TV does. And what it told me was that Kaidon Salter actually had a pretty darn good game. Okay. All in all, Kaidon Salter had a lot better. I think Juju might come in at garbage time in fourth quarter. Lil Bucket, I would agree with you. That's what I think the plan is all along because, again, I think Colorado can take care of business. Everybody is putting the score at 40 to under 20 for Delaware. So 40 for us, under 20 for Delaware. If that happens, Juju's playing in the second half. So there's that. TMFB, I'm glad Juju already starting to build. Salter has to be truly elite to remain, I would think. So the question is Prime lighting a fire under Kaidon Salter? Is that what he's doing by announcing that Juju's going to do this? I can't see a scenario where we struggle defensively. D-Nice, I can't either. That's my biggest point. I can't. TJ, CU wins by 31. TJ, if CU wins by 31, you better be hammering the over on that game because right now I believe the game is 23 and a half, 24 points on the spread. You better be hitting CU on that spread hard, and I'd even up the spread a little bit to get yourself a little bit more payback, if you know what I mean. Appreciate you, TMFB. Lil Bucket again. Georgia Tech, top 5 rushing team in CFB. Our D-line did okay, but linebackers got to be more physical and be explosive hitting those gaps. Not only the linebackers, Lil Bucket, I talked about it on the show, the safeties were also piss poor when it came to stopping the run. They were left out to stop the run exclusively, and they were hitting gaps incorrectly as well. So there's two sides to that. A lot of better. We need to see a lot more out of our rush defense from top to bottom, back to front. Need to see it all. Need to see it all. New Harper, welcome in. Salter makes too many bad decisions. And situational awareness was an F. And he talked about this, New Harper. He talked about that in his interview. I like that he immediately brought it up, which tells me that he's paying attention. He knows what's going on, and us fans are not just yelling into a void. We have something there. And he said that he needs to take more of what the defense is giving him. Prime said that all week. What they're talking about is the fact that Salter too many times would scramble and have Green in front of him for a minimum of 5 to 6 yards. Okay, not a guaranteed first down, not a guaranteed big gain, but 5 to 6 yards guaranteed. You take those 5 to 6 yards, especially when it wasn't third down. There was a lot of plays where he could have ran and it wasn't third down. It was first or second down. And if he gains those 5 or 6 yards, now we're at a second and short, a third and short. That helps the team versus him going for the big play on the run, trying to get the bigger play. Don't do that. You don't have to do that. Take what the defense gives you, run with it. You are Kaidon Salter. You are here because you are a very good dual threat quarterback. Be a dual threat quarterback. Run the ball along with passing the ball. I need to see it. And I have a feeling that he's going to, okay, guys? I have a feeling that last week was a case of several things. I have a feeling it was a case of a little bit of nerves, being with a new team, trying to figure out, also being in the shadow of Shedeur Sanders and trying to be like him. I think that truly was what was happening. And Kaidon Salter was like, I want the big plays. I want to show that I'm a passing quarterback. I want to show that I have an arm. Kaidon, you don't have to show us that. You've got a pretty good, accurate arm when you're in the pocket. But when you get flushed out, just take off with it, man. Take what the defense is giving you. Take the yards. I think we're going to see it tomorrow. I really, really do. I really, really do think that we will see it. We need no sacks, less than 4 penalties, no turnovers, 175 rushing yards on the ground. D-Nice, that's what we got last week. You know that, right? Except for the less than 4 penalties. We took 1 sack. We had, 5 penalties? We didn't give up any turnovers, and we had 160, 170 rushing yards. I want to see more than that, D-Nice. I want to see more than this. I like the no sacks. I like the less than 4 penalties. I like the no turnovers, even though we already matched that. I'd like to see, honestly, 200 yards rushing. I'd like to see 200 yards rushing. And I called it this week. If you were there on the Wednesday show with David Talks Buffs, I predicted, and my projection was Michael Welsh is going to be one of the first 100-yard rushers in the coach primary. I don't think we've ever had a 100-yard rusher. Guys, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like that's something we've been striving for since Prime has got here, and we haven't seen it. I think the best we've had is like 70, 80 yards. I don't think we have a 100-yard rusher. I want a 100-yard rusher, and I think Michael will do that this weekend. BTA win for the Buffs. Looking forward to it. Agree. New Harper, you got it. You got it. Pat called a decent game. Salt missed several passes. Exactly, Kevin. Exactly. I think it's going to be fine. Now, 70-7 is a little insane, Kevin. That's a little disrespectful to Delaware. That's a little disrespectful. Keith going 35-17. I like it. And yes, I do agree. The O-line overall is much better. Clock management is important. The last 5 minutes, if we just ran the ball and run the clock, we would have won the game off of a field goal. Correct. We needed to stick to the run. I don't know why we went away from it. I don't know why we tried passing the ball at that point. Waste the clock, time manage, use your timeouts, be smart. We need to figure that out. What games are going to this year, says TJ. Right now, I just have tickets to tomorrow's game. I bought them because they're so cheap. By the way, guys, if anybody wants to go to a game this year, this is the game to go to. The tickets are dirt cheap. And even more, I looked, they're even cheaper right now. Like, I'm so mad because I bought them a couple weeks ago for like $70, which was still cheap, by the way. And we're row 6. We're row 6. So we're not up in the nosebleeds or anything like that. But last night, I get a phone call from a friend offering me club seats for like $60. I'm pissed. I'm pissed, guys. I'm pissed. Should have waited to buy my tickets, but I'll see what happens. I told him, please find me another game that you guys don't want to go to or you can't go to this year, and I will buy those tickets. Please. It would be so wonderful for me to be able to do that. So please let me do that, guys, please. So yeah, just right now, just the Delaware game tomorrow. We'll see what happens the rest of the season. I'm going to try and get to at least one more game. And then next week, the game is on Friday night. Is that right? Did I see that right? I just want to be sure, because if the game is Friday night next week, Yeah, Friday, September 12th. Oh, we're away. We're away. And then we're home on September 20th. What I want to do is I want to do a live stream from the Buff Stampede on Pearl Street at least once this season. The problem right now that I'm running into is I just keep I'm busy on Friday nights. So like I'm busy tonight, so I can't go to the Buff Stampede on Pearl Street. I want to go. I want to live stream it for you guys because I know you guys would love to see that. So I'm trying to figure that out. Dario, hey, I'm at you, and I also make videos. Love your background. Keep it up. Thank you, Dario. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Enjoy CU. Enjoy being at Boulder. This is a fantastic time to be at Colorado. Nothing better. And hey, nothing better than Boulder in the fall, baby. Nothing better than Boulder in the fall. K-State, the game at K-State would be a fun game. That last game of the season, I did that last year. I went to the last game of the season thinking it was going to be, plus playing for the Big 12, chance to go play in the championship. Unfortunately, we fell a game short, but I did get to see that blowout against Oklahoma State. That was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. This game will be good. Delaware is not that bad. I would agree. Here's why I think myself and a lot of other people are saying such a big line when it comes to the gap between CU and Delaware as far as the score goes, guys. Depth is the biggest one. Delaware is just making the transition to FBS. They're just now getting a full FBS roster. And by that, I do not mean that their starters are bad. I think their starters are actually pretty darn good. They've got some decent size on them, especially their offensive line has good size. Quarterback has good play. They've got a couple of speedsters in the wide receiver room, a couple of great wide receivers. So they've got the players. They just don't have the depth that most FBS programs have. It's what Colorado had an issue with 2 years ago. Think about where Colorado was when Coach Prime kind of cleaned house and had to start from scratch. That's kind of Delaware this year moving into the FBS. They obviously bring some people over from their FCS program, but they also bring in a bunch of transfers and new players to try and compete in FBS. They're probably a year or two away from really being able to match up well with top FBS programs. I mean, last week they struggled against a lesser FCS opponent in Delaware State. No offense to Delaware State. They're in a rebuild now with their new coach. So the fact that they struggled, the fact that it was a shootout, that again shows me and plays in well that I think Colorado will do just fine against them. I think we do have the depth advantage. I think we have the size advantage overall across the board. But like I said, their offensive line is pretty good. Defensive line is lacking in size, especially on the interior. I believe the last time I looked at the roster, the heaviest guy they have on the interior of their defensive line is like 270. So our offensive line better dominate this game. And I do feel like we are going to be able to run the ball quite successfully tomorrow. But I also feel like they're going to let Kaidon Salter loose a little since the wide receivers didn't get involved last week. I think they get involved a little bit more here. So that's where I'm at. Russ, when are you going to a game this year? Artemis just answered that. Tomorrow, baby. I'm at the Delaware game. I will be at the Delaware game. And by the way, I will be at the DNVR tailgate tomorrow. So if you want to see me, if you want to say hi, if you want to chat, come on out to the DNVR tailgate and you will be able to see me there. So otherwise, if you just see me out and about in Boulder at the stadium, feel free to let me know. Oh, other games. I don't have any plans as of right now. I'm trying to get some tickets to some others. I don't want to pay full price for them. At least not pay full price for like really good seats. If I have to, I'll pay full price on like, worse seats. Right now, like the games that have tickets available are all in the away teams section. Those prices aren't bad, and I could do that, but I just don't want to sit in the away teams section. I really don't. So I'm working with some friends. I've got a lot of connections. They just want to use their tickets now at CU. It's not like it was in the past where you could get tickets pretty easily from people throughout the season. So that's what's going on there. Artemis, $20 seats at U of H. I wish Boulder's a little bit more of a hot ticket now than it was previously. So I get that. The real ones better come play a real game. I would agree with that, Selmo. Appreciate you. Colorado is at the mercy of Coach Shermer's predictability play calling. I think you'll be a little surprised tomorrow. Domestically, if we hit the spread by halftime, I think we all have all our bench play and not concerned if it's close at the end, if the bench is playing. We'll have to see what happens. I could see the bench doing pretty well against Delaware. If we're winning by that much, Demistocles, I don't think putting in the backups would all of a sudden make this game close. And I don't think you put in all the backups. I think you would in certain spots. Like I could see London Merritt, Alex McPherson, Mantrez Walker, Jeremiah Brown, some of those guys on defense getting a chance. On offense, I would think you could see Quentin Gibson more. You'd probably see Simeon Price. You would see Quinnell Farrakhan probably get some nice run. Jack Hystera. Who knows who else you would see get a run at that point, but I could see it absolutely. And I don't think it would be able to get back to being close if we're already up that 24 points, but it'll be interesting. What's up, 414? Appreciate you dropping by. We should put all of the backups, Artemis says. All of them. Let's see them all. Let's get the walk-on Warriors into the game. Let's get some Gage Goldberg in there. Let's get some Cardi Smith, some Chauncey Gooden. Let's get, Batista, the running back in. Hey, that could be interesting to see. I would love to see him. I would love to see him even in normal play, guys, with how bad the safeties were last week. I'm telling you how bad they were on Friday night. Branch Jr. cannot be any worse. They cannot be any worse. I'm being honest. Dario, maybe you touched on this, but how much playing time you think Juju will get? It depends on the score, if I'm being honest, Dario. I have a feeling that Coach Prime wants to give him a half. You game plan at halftime for him to come in. You give him a scripted drive to start the half. I could see that. So Colorado needs to take care of business in the first half. Like Demistocles says, if they have covered the spread, so it's a 24-point lead at half, I could see Julian Lewis starting the second half, okay? 24-point lead or more. I could see, honestly, 21-point lead or more, 3-touchdown lead. I could see Julian Lewis getting that second half. At minimum, I could see him getting fourth quarter, depending on where we're at. It's all going to depend on the score, guys. It really, really is. It really is. A great turnaround from last week would be a shutout. Absolutely. How many sacks tomorrow? Oh, this is a good question, D-Nice. We didn't answer this on Wednesday. And finding out more about Delaware and their play style and the fact that they are a chuck it around the yard team means that we are going to have a much better chance to get sacks. I'm not saying that they have a bad offensive line. In fact, size-wise, they have a very good offensive line. But we're going to have a lot more opportunity to get after the quarterback than we did against Georgia Tech. And even against Georgia Tech, we got a sack, which Georgia Tech does not give up very many sacks because of the fact that they are a quick passing, run first team. So going to this Delaware game, I would expect 5 sacks. I mean, that's what I'll be honest. I think we should get at least 5 sacks. If I'm a betting man, I would say the over on 1 sack for Arden Walker. So maybe 2 or more. Who knows? I could easily see somebody, somebody surprising us, guys, like a London Merritt getting his first ever sack, like a Brandon Davis Swain getting his first ever sack. Outside of that, Jaheim Otis, let's see what he does. It's obvious he's working into what he needs to be. He had a good game overall with some lackluster plays here and there. I want to see consistency out of him. Maybe he gets a sack as well. So I'm going to call 5 sacks for Colorado heading into tomorrow's game. That's where I'm at. Do you think he gets 15 to 25 throws, Julian Lewis? And do you think London Merritt plays more this season? I think London Merritt played a decent amount last week. For a true freshman, he played a decent amount last week. So I could absolutely see that. I think 15 to 25 throws for Julian Lewis could be around where it's at. I'm warning you guys now. We're going to hear it from the news, but if Julian Lewis is in and playing a normal game, we're probably going to hear some complaints either from Delaware fans, either from college football people, that Colorado's running up the score, because that's probably what they're going to try to do because they want to unleash everybody on this program and get a chance to play today. Do you think DJ will get his 4th game in a row on a pick? I'm going to say yes. I mean, he has to get a pick this game. Again, pass-happy team that we're up against, DJ is going to have a lot of opportunities. So I hope he gets that 4th straight pick. D-Nice last week on defense, we should have put Preston on the outside with DJ, put another linebacker in instead of nickel corner, brought in a safety in the box, ran a cover 3-man variation. Either that or I would have even subbed a safety for a linebacker, if I'm being honest, D-Nice. But I really do wish we had done that. Kevin Riley, I'll be at the Iowa State game. Very brave of you. Very brave of you to be at the Iowa State game, if I'm being honest. Because I don't think that's going to be a good game for Colorado. Rocco Becht is legit. So we'll have to see what we have these next couple of weeks to really determine if Iowa State is legitimate and if Colorado's legitimate, if that makes sense. It'll be interesting to see. Can we get a McPherson sighting? I mean, if we get up ahead, we definitely will be. TC Lewis said his son better get at least 15 reps. Where are you getting him to say that he better get 15 reps? A little interesting there. Salter at 102 fever against Georgia Tech. Can't judge him after one game. Cam, and I said you can't judge him after one game even without the fever knowledge. Like, I saw what he was trying to do. He was just, his receivers and him weren't on the same page when it came to that. So I'm not going to say it was flu that caused it. I think we saw what Kaidon Salter could be. He just needs to change up his decision making. And I don't think 102 fever affects your decision making. It may affect your ability to, be in shape, to be able to breathe, to be able, all those things. But I think decision making should be fine. Oh, Torland Styles. Football fans are a scary bunch across the board. No matter what team you're fanatical about, the players are secondary to the ideal. I keep it simple and root for the underdog. Torland, well said. Well said. Real quick, let's get in that ad read, guys. You guys have all done it. You guys have already gotten it, right? You guys have already gone out and got the Taco Bell $7 buff box, baby. Look at it right here. There is your $7 buff box. Go get it at your participating Taco Bells here in Colorado. That's right, guys. Colorado only. It's a Colorado only promotion. So when you come to a game, whoever it was, remind me, who was it that said they're coming to Kevin Riley? When you come to the Iowa State game, make sure you stop by one of the Taco Bells in the area and get yourself one of these buff boxes so that you can collect one of 4 collectible cups. Hey, maybe this Julian Lewis cup will be a lot more important because he might be starting by then. Who knows? We've also got Draylon Miller, number 6. We got number 15, Quentin Gibson, probably my favorite cup. And then, of course, we've got the franchise. The franchise, Jordan Seaton, baby. So go to your participating local Colorado Taco Bells and get your buff box. $7 gets you 4 items of food, guys. I'm telling you, it is way too much food. I cannot finish it, so just know about that. And guys, just so you guys know, Taco Bell is donating $1,000 per touchdown this season. And I have a feeling that tomorrow is going to be an expensive day for Taco Bell. So Taco Bell owner out there, get ready, because tomorrow's going to be expensive when Colorado takes on Delaware. You'll be donating a lot of money to that scholarship fund. So we appreciate you for supporting CU and CU Athletics. And we appreciate you, the fans, for supporting your local Taco Bell. Scobuffs and Live Moss, baby. Live Moss. That's what I'm talking about. We got that Taco Bell. And you know what that means, guys? The Taco Bell bell means that the Taco Bell hotline is going to be open momentarily. Okay? So you guys are going to be able to call in and give your predictions for the CU Delaware game tomorrow. Let me know. Who do you think is going to be victorious and what the score is? And who is going to be your player of the game? Most impactful player. Let me know. Okay? The Taco Bell hotline is officially open. So we're taking calls. Let me know, guys. Call in. Let me know your predictions. Happy to hear from you. We'll keep going through the chat to hear from you guys as well. D-Nice, tell Taco Bell to bring back the extra large chalupa. I would do that if I had a connection to corporate. Okay, this is just the local Taco Bells we're talking about. It's the owner of the local Taco Bells that is doing this promotion. So unfortunately, we don't have a connection to the top to say, hey, can you bring back the extra large chalupa? There's a lot of menu items that I would bring back if I had a chance to at Taco Bell. And I'm sure you guys, we can do that one day. We'll do a poll of which food items at Taco Bell do you most wish food to come back. Kevin Riley, the crowd is going to go crazy when Juju takes the field. Oh, you have no idea. I'm going to go crazy. And I get a chance to see his debut in college football, which is pretty darn cool. I've actually had that happen to me several times before, guys. I have been to NFL games where a quarterback has premiered. I was at the Denver Broncos Seattle Seahawks game when Jay Cutler started his first ever NFL game. Very exciting game. Denver lost on a field goal. I was also at Tim Tebow's first NFL game. I just have this luck about being at these players' like first ever games that go on to very interesting careers. So very interesting that I get that again this weekend once Coach Prime announced that. So we'll see what happens with that. Torlin saying, go Salt. TJ, I appreciate you. I will have fun at the game. After the game, he said that for real. Lady C, are we talking about Salter's his temperature flu game, so to speak? Robbie, a little birdie whispered that Juju is playing a lot earlier than most think. Robbie coming in with some news. Does Robbie know something that we don't? We'll have to see. The amount of Mexican pizzas I ate should be illegal. The Mexican pizza is a staple, okay? It is up there on the GOAT list tier for Taco Bell, okay? It truly is. I'll still go with the original GOAT and the GOAT that, by the way, is in the $7 box, and that is the Cheesy Gordita Crunch. But the pizza is up there with the Cheesy Gordita Crunch. I'll say that now. I will. It's Delaware. Of course, Juju going to play, but he's not playing a lot versus competition or completions. Not sure. Dina says, I hope not. I mean, you want to start a quarterback controversy, start Julian Lewis early in that game. You're hoping fourth quarter. There you go. Hoping fourth quarter. So let's talk predictions. I'm going to go through some of my stuff. I've already gone through it Wednesday. I'm going to add a little bit of more detail to this, guys. A little bit more detail into what I think. Now, again, my score that I gave out on Wednesday night for my official prediction, Colorado 40, Delaware 17. Okay, that was my official prediction. I'm standing by that, although I might say 42-17 just to make it a obtainable score that's a little bit easier to get to. But hey, 40-17 is the score that I am going to say. After the game said Juju's dad wants him to get more than 15 reps. I was asking him to confirm. Oh, I asked him to confirm. I was like, where did you hear that? Where did you see that? Because I'm not so sure about that. That's a very interesting, crazy thing. It would be all over the internet if that was actually said. So I don't think that's it. Brady B, I bet Juju gets a series late first, early second, regardless of the scenario. That could very well be. Robbie agreeing with you. OFB, yo, Russ, what about the other quarterbacks? Are they worth watching? On CU? Is that what we're talking about? Are you talking about CU's quarterbacks? Are you talking about Ryan Staub? Is that what you're saying, OFB? Because I'm not sure what you're saying. Or are you talking about like other college quarterbacks? Not sure. Let me know. So as far as my breakout players go, if you missed Wednesday's show, I'll reiterate the ones that I said then, and we'll give you one extra one to look out for. But on offense, I actually brought up Quentin Gibson because the one thing that we heard from our Delaware insider was that Delaware struggled against Delaware State when it came to their playmakers and speedsters. Delaware had an issue tackling. They had an issue with their angles. All of that caused a lot of problems, which is why that game was so high scoring and so close. And with our playmakers and speedsters like Quentin Gibson, I feel like they can have a massive game. And so I do feel like Quentin Gibson is going to go off and have a number of big plays. He's not going to have a lot of plays, but when he does touch the ball, it's going to go the distance. So I have Quentin Gibson getting his first ever career touchdown in this game. And then on defense, I believe who I said was going to be the standout player on defense. The standout player that I said on defense is going to be Sean Myers. He flashed on tape in limited playing time. I did give him my Taco Bell player of the week, Even though he only had 1 tackle and 1 assist, he played very sparingly, and still yet he scored an 84 PFF overall defensive grade, one of the highest of the entire weeks. So in his short and limited time, Sean Myers looked absolutely amazing. And I have a feeling, based on everything we're hearing, that he is going to get quite a run during tomorrow's game. So those are my 2 impact players, but I'll give you one extra one for our Friday show. The third impact player that you need to look out for, I'm going to call it now. I'm going to say the impact player for tomorrow on the offensive side of the ball is going to be tight end Zach Atkins. Watching Zach's performance last Friday, he had a lot of interesting and good plays. He had some good, he had some bad. There were some really good blocking plays that he had. There were some that were very bad, but he also owned up to it. As soon as he made a bad play, you could tell he was hard on himself, even on the field at the time. Didn't just walk away, realized it, figured it out, came back with a strong play. And I also feel like he's going to be a big integral part of the passing game tomorrow. So Zach Atkins is my other player to watch for tomorrow. So Zach Atkins, Quentin Gibson, and Sean Myers, those are my impact players to watch for tomorrow's game, presented by Taco Bell, as always. So appreciate them and appreciate you guys on that. Again, the Taco Bell hotline is open. Feel free to call in if you would like to voice your predictions for Colorado versus Delaware. So if you have a prediction, if you have an impact player, feel free to ring me a call. Robbie's saying 42-28 CU. Radio Pastor in the chat, appreciate you dropping by as well. Appreciate you big time. Brady B. Gibson kickoff team. Maybe he gets a kick return today or tomorrow as well. Lady C, I want to see Joseph Williams, Farrakhan, and a couple more. Got to learn names. Farrakhan and JoJo score, says Brady B. Very interesting. You guys are loving Farrakhan. Zach Atkins just needs some time. He is super good. Radio Pastor going 56-28. He's adding on about 16 points from mine on both sides of the ball nearly. Saying the CU is going to win that one pretty easily. I could see those scores. Again, CU has to show up. Northside, impactful player is going to be Harge. He only has CU winning 28-17. Northside, if that is the score, do you think Julian Lewis still plays in that close of a game? That's my question for you. Do you think Julian Lewis plays if the game is that close? Brady B, 38-20. He's also only got an 18-point victory. In both Northside and Brady, based on the spread right now, you would want to take Delaware tomorrow instead of Colorado. So if you're looking to do that, hey, 24-point underdogs for Delaware. Robbie, I just hope CU establish an identity and play as a team. Agreed. I want to know who this team is. Are we going to be a run-first offense? Then run the darn ball. If we are going to be a passing team, then pass the ball. If we're going to be a dual threat, then make it a true dual threat. Run the ball, Kaidon. Run the ball. I've got to see something out of this offense for sure. Brady, be anything less than 35, and I'd be concerned. That makes sense to me. Sincere Brown, 2 tutties, said Radio Pastor. I love it. Northside, Juju start 17-28. Juju starting the game or Juju starting when it gets to 28-7? What are we talking about here? See, you can't afford to underestimate any team. No. And I don't think they will, Robbie. I mean, this is mostly fan speak. It's not like there's a player in the chat saying, we're going to blow them out. It's going to be easy. I don't think that's happening right now, you know? I don't think that's happening. So don't worry about that. I think that's where we're at when it comes to the score and why people are saying that, okay? Why people are saying that, okay? Bezo, so y'all putting them weak-ass scores because Delaware beat Delaware State? Because what the heck y'all looking at? When you say weak-ass scores, Bezo, are you talking about the people who had it close, or are you talking about the people who are saying it's going to be a blowout? Would love to hear what you have to say there. Delaware coaching is very good. I have very much respect, but I think there's going to be a talent gap when it comes to the depth of both teams. Juju start with a win, 28-17. So Juju gets the win, meaning he goes in when we're losing, Northside? Statesman, Juju will come in pretty early, I think, even before halftime. Interesting statesman. I like it. I like the call. Very, very, hey, if it happens, it happens. You'll be the one that said it, along with Robbie as well, who said he might be coming early. Yes, us beating them barely is insane, bro. We're going to get clowned if we can barely beat them. And I said that all week, Bezo. I've said that all week, that if this game is close and it is not what Colorado does to take care of business, then this season is going to be long and we're going to have some issues, guys. And we will talk about that in the post game. It needs to be a lot of points. It has to be a lot of points because Delaware is going to be, and again, this is no shot at Delaware, but Delaware is going to be the worst team we play all year. It is. That is a fact. Does that mean that we beat them? Doesn't guarantee that we beat them. We need to take care of business. Otherwise, it's going to be a very long year. Sir Guy, as always, coming in hot. 45-10 SCO Buffs. I love it. Northside, Juju going to play. Juju's going to play the whole game. You think Salter is benched and not starting, even though he's been announced as the starter. Very interesting, Northside. Very interesting. Jew should get a whole quarter. We should beat the brakes off them. We are the better team no matter what. And Bezo, I'm on the train of that. I think that we'll be up easy 24 points at half, and we will see Julian Lewis for the entire second half. What better way to put the kid in than to game plan for him at halftime? Script the first drive for him at halftime, and then move with Julian Lewis the entire second half. Okay? So there's that. Okay, guys, again, Taco Bell hotline is open. Feel free to call the number to my side over here, 970-805-0463, and you can talk to me and let me know your predictions for tomorrow's game. Who's going to be those impact players? Statesman coming in with the we need to cover and hammer the over 50-piece McNuggets. Incoming, says Statesman. Domestically, if we're up by 3 touchdowns by first quarter, I don't see why Juju doesn't come in and bench. Don't start playing there. If we lose the spread by benching players, I don't think it's an issue. Yeah, I think we can look at it a lot differently in the score of the game is, yes, if we have a massive lead and we put in Juju in the backups and the defensive backups and we let Delaware back in the game a little bit but still win, I would be a little bit better about saying, okay, it was a close game, but was it really a close game? Although, again, I don't see the backups really giving up that many points. Bezo, I know we don't, but got 2. But come on, you don't believe? I remember that was the case last year against North Dakota State. What was the case? Okay, we got our first call of the day. Let's go ahead and hear what they have to say. Let me make sure the audio's good. I'll hopefully have it working for you guys. Thank you for calling Buffs News Weekly. This is Russ. Let me know who I'm speaking with and where you are calling from.
And Russ, we trust the stand is D-Nice from Memphis, Tennessee.
What is up, D-Nice? As always a pleasure to talk to you. How are you doing on this fine Friday?
I'm doing well, man. I'm excited for tomorrow. It's going to be a blowout. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's like, Christmas Eve over here. I'm going to the game tomorrow. I'm going early in the morning. It's going to be a lot of fun.
100%, man. 100%. So I got a few comments, man. Then I got one question, and I'll get off the line because I know somebody's going to call in. So I think it's going to be a blowout tomorrow. That's what I want to see. I want it to be like 52-10, like 55-7. Like I want it to be a dominant performance, and I want that to trickle over into the Houston game and the Wyoming game. Like I want it to be a momentum builder to where we're dominating these teams by like 30 or more points. I'm tired of the 14-point wins or the 10-point wins. Like, I know this is a new season, but like we should have, we need some back-to-back dominance going into Big 12 conference play.
Yep. Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I want that again. I want Coach Prime at Jackson State where he was blowing out teams and running up the score. I want that for once.
100% agree. 100% agree. So I'm hoping in this game we get like 2 or 3 explosive plays. And this leads to my question for you too, and I'll get off the line. How many explosive plays, and I say explosive, I mean like 35 to 40 yards or more, including a touchdown, do you think we'll have this year? If you look back at last year, we probably had like 5. Like we had 2 in the Kansas game with Travis. We had 1 in the UCF game with Will. We had like 2 in the NDSU game, and then we had 1 for Cincinnati, which got called back for Jimmy Horn Jr. Like we should have had a lot more explosive plays that led to touchdowns. So I'm curious to hear what you believe our number will be on explosive plays, not only for like tomorrow's game, but for the year.
And you mean explosive for a touchdown? Because we had a bunch of, like, I would say 30 plus plays, but we only had so many that went for like a big touchdown.
So I want to say for a touchdown to improve this year. Like even last year for the explosive plays, they're over 30 yards. They were barely 40, 45 yards. Like all the speed that we had, we should have had something for like 60, 70 yards. Like I just feel like we had some lack. We left some things on the table last year for that. So I'm curious to know what you think for this year's projections. And it's always good talking to you, man. Go Bucks.
Yeah, you as well. Talk to you later. Appreciate you. I mean, as far as big plays, I will say for tomorrow, there better be 5+ big plays. As far as big plays for a touchdown, I want to see 2 to 3. That's what I've been calling. And that's why I also called out Quentin Gibson. I think he could be in for a long play. Heck, Michael Welsh might have a big run, or you know who's going to really make a big play, guys? DeKalon Taylor is so close to busting out a big play. We've got players this year that I feel like, even more so than years past, are big-time playmaker plays. Quentin Gibson, DeKalon Taylor are 2 guys that are absolute speed demons, absolute playmakers. Sincere Brown, you get the ball in his hands, he can make moves and make things happen. You saw it last year for Campbell for him. So those are more players. I think right now we have more explosive type players than we do last year. Last year, what I would have called it is, Shepard, Travis. Oh, I mean, Travis was that big playmaker, and he gave us a couple of those. But it was more about going up and make catches. It was more about, going over the top of somebody making a catch than it was necessarily that. LeJohntay, same thing, getting wide open and then making plays. As far as like big time, just speed demon plays, I mean, we're talking probably 50+, 60+ yard plays, which we have not seen in the Coach Prime era, really. DeKalon Taylor, Quentin Gibson, Sincere Brown, those are guys who can absolutely do it. I mean, Omarion Miller did it last year, that play before the half where he looked like he was down, kept going. That was one of your big plays. Travis Hunter had a number of big plays in the end zone. Will Shepard had the one, like they said, against UCF where he made the diving touchdown catch. There was a number. I don't know what the number would be for the whole season, but what I want to see is tomorrow, I want to see 5+. I want to see 5+ alone in tomorrow's game. So where does that put us in the season? 10, 15, 20+ of those plays. It depends on what we decide to be our identity, guys. That's what I'm very interested to see. I can't really say it until I know our identity as a team. We got another caller. Let's go ahead and bring them in. Buff News Weekly Live. This is Russ. Who do I have the pleasure of speaking with, and where are you calling from?
What up, Russ? This is Kevin Riley. I'm calling from California.
Hey, Kevin, welcome. Welcome to the show. Appreciate the super chat earlier on. What do you have to say? What are your predictions for tomorrow's game against Delaware?
I'm just going to say this. I'll say, I think I said 77, but that's probably a little high. I mean, I think they could, but I'm going to say they're going to score over 60 points. Colorado.
Okay.
I don't know how many points. I would say Delaware, they might score no more than a couple touchdowns, if that.
Okay.
So I'll say 60. I'll say Colorado's going to score over 60 points, and Delaware maybe 1 or 2 touchdowns. That's pretty much it.
Okay. Do you have anybody specific that you think are going to be an impact player as part of that 60-point? Who's going to be the standout player in that performance?
Yeah, I like to see the running back? What's the running back number 29?
Michael Welsh.
Nick Welsh. Oh, okay, not him.
DeKalon Taylor is 20, and then Simeon Price is 26.
Okay, yeah, I think they're definitely going to get DeKalon the ball more. And then, what's the QB1 name?
Kaidon Salter.
Okay, yeah. So Kaidon. So I think he'll he'll probably put up maybe I think 3 or 4 touchdowns, and then Juju he'll come in and put in a couple of touchdowns in that second half. So I think we'll go over 60 points. So
okay. I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. Well, thank you so much for calling in. I'm sure we'll talk the rest of the season. You have a great rest of your night and a good weekend.
Yeah, and I'll tell you this, man. If I'm right, they score over 60 points, man. I'll get you a beer, man.
You do that. I'll see you. I'll see you on the post game show on Monday. But I'll hold you to that. Have a great rest of your weekend, man.
All right. Have a good one. You too.
You too. Bye. Love it. Absolutely love it. Kevin Riley coming in from California. I absolutely love it. Almighty Law in here. I got CU cracking 35-14. We got a lot of 30s in there. OFB 35-24. He's got a close game. See, Northside, I know we have ballers. We have absolute ballers this year. There's no excuse for a better offensive performance out of Colorado than what we had last Friday. No excuse. If Utah blow out UCLA, if can't blow out Delaware, we're going to have some serious problems. Yes, I would agree with that. I would absolutely agree with that. But UCLA is not the UCLA of old. Utah is looking pretty good, though, I will say. I have Utah now towards the top. I was wondering what they would look like with Devin Dampier. Now that they have an actual quarterback for the first time in a while, thanks to not sticking with Cam Old Man Rising, they're going to be dangerous. They are going to be dangerous. Lady C 31-24 Colorado. She's also got a close game, guys. She's also got a close game. OFB, I want to see Staub play, so Juju and Salters needs to show up and show out. I don't think Staub plays unless Julian gets hurt. Knock on wood. Please don't do that, okay? I don't think Staub is playing either way. They're going to give Juju as much time as he needs. And hey, if the score ends up being 70, 80 points because Juju all of a sudden starts balling out, they're not going to slow down, guys. They are going to give Juju every opportunity to take advantage of this game. If it gets to that point-wise, which again, I'm not saying it is, but if it does, then you treat it like a preseason game and get Julian all the snaps he can get because it very well could be the only game he gets in. I don't know. I don't know Coach Prime's plans. Northside, I want to see Ponder play. We're going to get to the 4th-string quarterback, guys. That's how bad you want it. You want a 4th-string quarterback playing in this game. Hey, Almighty Law, good to see you. Appreciate you guys dropping by. Hey, hit the like button, guys. We're a little short on people tonight. That's okay. It's Friday. People out enjoying their Friday nights, getting ready for that game tomorrow. We will have a post-game show tomorrow. Whether or not I'm on it will be dependent on if I'm able to get some cell signal and I can call in or be a part of the stream somehow. You may not see my face, but you may hear me tomorrow on my phone calling in from the game after I get out. But either way, the post-game show will be simulcasted on my channel with David Talks Buffs. He will be hosting, and I will be joining momentarily from my phone unless I can get home quick enough. Maurice coming in, 48-13, Colorado. I love it. Guys, I'm going to call it at night. I appreciate you guys so very darn much. Hey, go out and about. Enjoy your weekend in Boulder tonight, okay? Go out to the Buff Stampede tonight at 7 p.m. in Boulder on Pearl Street if you are in town for that game. It is a fun time for everybody. Like I said, I'm going to stream one of these nights where I'll stream live from the Buff Stampede, and you guys can see what that looks like from my channel and my point of view. But again, hey, hit that like button, okay? And guys, we will see you after the game tomorrow. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy watching the Delaware CU game. And as always, go Buffs.